In case you're wondering why I haven't got the lights on here, I'm trying to do some wiring here, some real basic 12-volt wiring, and all of a sudden my furnace fan turns off and the lights go out. I said, what did I just do? Well, wait a second, I'm doing 12-volt wiring, not 110-volt, but as it turns out, half the city's gone black. Apartment building, my house, apartment here, the lights on the street corner. Well, I was just about to make a video, and you'd think that I could do wiring real fast because I've done it for so long, but no. What I'm trying to do is find a 12-volt power source that's hot only with the key forward. So I looked in my instructions here, and I've got ECM-B, rear defog, fuel solenoid, ignition E, empty, glow plugs. So I chose the fuel solenoid, and I stuck a tap in that I've got in this box. It'd be nice if I had some lights, wouldn't it? I've got these various little terminal ends, and I stuck it in the hole right next to the terminal that's sticking up out of the fuse box, and there's no power at it. I said, what? Well, I found out why. See? Nothing. How annoying, huh? I got power there. I got no power here. And the reason is there's a piece of plastic that you can barely see. Oh, I got the key turned off. I did have the key on, and all of a sudden power went off here and my turn signal was on because I'm reaching through the door, but let me show you this. And the crew will get the power turned on in a minute.
Have a clean record, helping them get work authorization.
Where was I? There. So you got power there, but on the terminal, there's no power. That's because there's a tiny piece of plastic on the other side of the female that sticks up out of the fuse block. Because even though I have this little terminal gizmo, oh come on, even though I have this little terminal thing placed right beside the metal female, it's actually not touching it. Hard to believe, huh? See? Oh, wait a minute. That one. See? Nothing. Stick the screwdriver, the tester in, but just a fraction away. So what I've been trying to do is just break away the plastic with this pointer so I can get some 12-volt power to my actuator motor that's installed. And I got the wiring strapped to the radiator hose, strapped to the fuel return hoses. Try to do a neat job up behind the vacuum pump. So it'd be nice to have a little brass strap that goes underneath the fuse blade, but I don't have any for these mini fuses, so I'm struggling. Then the power goes out. Oh, bugger. Alright. I'll struggle away in silence. I won't complain to you. Okay, shut up. TGIF. That's right.
From Syria now to its strongest ally.
Alright, I finally figured it out. I got a narrow blade, and I'm able to stick the blade, which I'll solder onto the wire, between the plastic. There's just enough room to squeeze it in. I'm going to do it on the cold side of the fuse, so that it will be a fused wire. You turn the key on, see where you want to put your wire, then you take the fuse out, and the cold side will have no power, and the other side will have power. The power goes through the fuse and back down. So what we've got here is the positive from the battery goes to one side of the fuse, that's the hot side, through the fuse and back through to wherever it's going on its way. I'm going to put it on the cold side of the fuse. So if you want to watch, I'll solder this wire to the lug. Oh boy. My electric cord on my soldering iron is short. A little bit of flux to clean. Put a bit of flux on the tip, clean it off.
the attack, but not if Iran loses the Syria link to Hezbollah. Between these economic...
I'll probably melt my radiator fan shroud. You stick it on the wire, and it's hard to do when it's suspended in midair. You wait for the flux to bubble, the smoke goes up your nose. You just keep trying to feed this very thin flux core wire until it flows into the strands like it's doing right now. And then it eventually locks it into the tinned connector, and I just melted it to the radiator support, or the radiator shroud. There we go. Doesn't take much. I gotta check this stuff out. Sample can. Someone recommended it to me. There it is. I know you can't see it, it's blurry. I got it on macro, but I'll put a bit of shrink tubing on it. I'll clean off the flux, put on some shrink tubing, and stick it in my fuse block. Come on, tripod, cooperate. Oops. There. Rock solid. I'll take a rag or a tissue, clean it off, put some shrink tubing on it, and stick it in the hole. And that's what she said to the sailor. You gotta try this stuff. No rust. Self-healing. Oh, come on, camera. Balance, balance, balance. Alright, I've got my shrink tubing on. Whoop! There goes my package of batteries. I'm going to use some shrink tubing now and shrink it. Whoop! Gotta love shrink tubing. Covers up all your messes like Bondo. Now, I'm going to bend it to fit underneath the plastic cover.
Arguing that insurers should provide no-cost contraception and under the wrath of conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh. Over the past few days, he has repeatedly used his program to denounce Book, calling her a slut and a prostitute. As NPR's Brian Naylor reports, Limbaugh's harsh words have in turn drawn sharp denunciations from Democrats and Republicans.
It began when Sandra Flood testified before a panel of congressional Democrats about the need for access.
Now, hopefully, that's the cold side.
Catholic school does not provide such coverage as
I forget which side is which. Yep, that's the hot side. That's the cold side. So when I put the fuse in, which I forgot where I put the fuse. Oh yeah, over here. Stick the fuse in.
What does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke? It goes before a congressional committee and essentially
fuse in.
She must be paid to have sex. What's that mean?
Oh, Rush Limbaugh's a nice guy.
Get into a slut, right?
Look at that.
It's a prostitute. She wants to be paid to have sex.
That means when I put it in four-wheel drive, I gotta crawl underneath the truck door. I got it wired open. That means when I put it in four-wheel drive,
the use of those words was inappropriate, as is trying to raise money off the whole debate. More on that in a minute. Today, President Obama weighed in.
oh yeah, it's in four-wheel drive now. So how do you tell if it's working? You gotta crawl underneath it, I guess. Listen for the motor to go.
He wanted to offer his support to her. He wanted
Or
to
low,
express his disappointment,
neutral.
that she has been the subject of inappropriate.
Let's put the camera underneath the truck.
And to thank her for
See what happens. On my knees.
The phone call, Flick appeared on MSNBC, described her conversation with
I got this thing working properly. I blew the line through. Some blockage in there probably.
Speaking out about the concerns of American women, and what was really personal for me was that
I'll turn off the radio.
told my parents that they should be threatened. That meant a lot because first of all, I questioned whether or not my family would be threatened.
Hang on, I'm going to pause this for a second. And I'll put a still clip in.